Good evening. Good evening. This meeting will come to order. This is the November Zoning Board of Appeals meeting for 2019. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Ms. Ferrante has advised that she cannot attend tonight. Mr. Hirsch?
Here.
Mr. Wolf?
Here.
Mr. Soto?
Here.
Mr. Tizzola?
Here.
Ms. Valcott?
Here.
Mr. Casey?
Here.
And Mr. Dubois?
Here. Also present, Meg Green, our recording secretary, Stephen Harris, our zoning officer. Let's see, Sarah Ferrante is absent this evening. Mr. Casey, will you fill in for Sarah, please?
I will.
Okay. If you feel there's someone on this board that might be a conflict of interest to your application, please let us know. Okay. With that, item number one.
Item number 1, 352 Wheelers Farm Road, MBP 96/915/10R-A. Thomas Lynch Esquire for Cornerstone Christian Center, Incorporated, owner, vary Section 3.1.4.2, lot coverage from 25% permitted to 58% provided to allow parking area for church rectory in RA zone.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. For the record, my name is Thomas Lynch, and I'm an attorney with the law firm of Lynch, Trimbicki, and Boynton, with offices located here in Milford at 63 Cherry Street. And before I begin, Mr. Chairman, item number 2 on tonight's agenda, I am also representing the applicant on that matter, and a couple of his neighbors came down to the meeting, and I think that there's some concerns that they may have that might be worth discussion before we move forward. So if I may, I'd like to have that adjourned for tonight and continue to the December meeting, if that...
Yes, so moved, if that's what you would like, sure.
Yes.
So you just want to postpone it?
Postpone number,
Okay.
Item number 2.
Okay, sure.
All right. So going into this application, I'm here tonight with members of the Cornerstone Christian Church. We have an application that we've submitted on behalf of the church for a variance of Section 3.142 of the zoning regulations. That's the section of the regulations that prescribes setbacks and minimum lot requirements for the particular residential zones in town. And since this property is located in the RA zone, we're before you tonight with an application to vary that section of the zoning regulations, which allows a maximum lot coverage of 25%. And the variance that we're seeking tonight is to allow a lot coverage on this property of 58%, to allow a parking area to be constructed on site in conjunction with the conversion of the single-family residence on that property that the church recently bought, to convert it into church offices, a church rectory, and the parking will be used in conjunction with the church sanctuary, which is across the street at 349 Wheelers Farms Road. So with that said, I just wanted to give you a little brief background. I think all of us who live in Milford are familiar with Cornerstone Christian Church. It's been here in Milford for 40 years. Their first facility, which is now housing the church offices, is located at 192 Meadow Street up by Mathewson School. And some years ago, because of the increase in the congregation, the church purchased the property at 349 Wheelers Farms Road and has their spiritual center there, a church hall, and it's also used for functions. But one of the main problems that's been facing the church in conducting larger gatherings at that facility is parking. And up to now, the church has had an arrangement with the owners of the Merritt Crossing Office Park, which, if you're familiar, heading towards Boys and Girls Village, the Merritt Crossing Office Park is on the other side of the street. And the church has had a arrangement with the owners of the office park to have a shuttle service so that when there's large congregations in the church hall, the shuttle service brings parishioners over to the hall, and then at the conclusion of any services or any events, they're then shuttled back to 440 Wheeler's Farms. Unfortunately, that property is being sold. So this past spring, the church went out and bought this property, 352 Wheeler's Farms Road. It's a piece of property that consists of some 1.7 acres in the RA zone. There's a single-family residence that's located on the site, and the intention is to turn that building into the church rectory with offices. And the parking lot that we've shown on page 2 of the plan submitted to you will accommodate some 101 parking spaces to take care of the overflow parking from the events across the street, as well as provide parking for church employees that will be working at the rectory. Now, this is the first step of a process that's going to go from here to the Inland Wetlands Agency and then ultimately to the Planning and Zoning Board, because under our residential regulations here in Milford, churches are permitted in residential zones as long as a special permit application is presented along with a site plan, and having the site plan meet all of the various regulations that are supposed to be accommodating parking, accommodating handicap parking, accommodating setbacks, drainage, and everything else. So we do not have a detailed site plan to submit to you. That would go to the Planning and Zoning Board, but what Ron Wassmer of Connecticut Civil Group has done is laid out the parking, and based on the calculations that he's put forth, it creates a situation where the lot coverage is 58% and the zone maximum is 25%. And that's where our hardship lies, because the zoning regulations allow a church. Every church has a very large parking lot. So you can have a church in the residential A zone. The church needs a parking lot, but another zoning regulation says that the maximum lot coverage can only be 25%. There's a inconsistency in the zoning regulations, and that's what we're presenting to you tonight as the hardship, along with the fact that if you're, again, familiar with the area, you know that Boys and Girls Village is a very large commercial facility that's located in that same zone with a larger lot coverage than we propose here. The church parking lot across the street at 349 Wheeler's Farms Road is the same. You have the Merritt Crossing facility at 440, which again has a huge parking lot and a large office complex in that same area, in that same zone. So what we're seeking here tonight is a very reasonable request, I believe, especially in conjunction with considering these other properties. But the point that I really wanted to emphasize is a church is permitted in the zone. A church needs parking. This is what we're seeking from you tonight. And this is not the last step of the process. As I said, we do have to go before the Planning and Zoning Board for a special permit and site plan approval. So they ultimately would be the ones to decide whether or not this is basically feasible for the area. So that's the sum and substance of it. Again, the church has been a very active member of the community here in Milford for 40 years. As I stated at the outset, they've seen a large increase in their membership over the past 6 or 7 years, and this is a vehicle for them to continue to accommodate their congregation. I'd ask that you approve this application. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else speaking in favor of this application? Anyone else speaking in favor? Is there anyone here opposed to this application? Any questions, Board, for Attorney Lynch? Any questions? No? None at all. Okay. This hearing is closed. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so we need a motion on this. You've heard the hardship. the church being in a residential zone, needing extra parking, so.
I make a motion to approve.
I second the motion.
Approval is based on the hardship of the church needing parking in a residential zone.
We have a motion to approve, and we have a second on the motion. Mr. Wolf,
I'm for the motion.
Mr. Soda,
With the motion.
Ms. Falca,
With the motion.
Mr. Casey.
With motion.
I'm with the motion, it's approved. Okay, you're welcome. Okay, as noted before, item number 2, 63 Lincoln Avenue, is postponed and will be heard next month. Let's see. New business? Any new business other than the calendar that we have to look at? Okay. Everyone has a new calendar. Have you looked at the calendar? You think any conflicting dates? I guess Meg and Stephen have put this together for us. Have we all looked at the calendar? Any problems? No? Okay. We need a motion to accept the calendar.
Make a motion to accept the calendar.
I second the motion.
All in favor? Aye? Okay, opposed? Okay, calendar's all set. Okay, anything else under new business? Do we have any old business? Staff update? No? Okay. Acceptance of the minutes from October 8th, 2019 hearing? We've all looked through our notes, okay, our minutes. Applications for next month? Just one? One, that one there? The postponed one or one new one? Okay, it's been quiet lately, okay. Okay, motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
This meeting is adjourned.